Hey, it's Greg Otten here with MaritimeGardening.com, and boy, there's a storm a-brewing here. You can't see behind me here, but the fog has rolled in, the wind's picked up, and there's a storm brewing. Anyway, we're gonna get some rain tonight, and that's great for my garden. And if you're not getting rain where you are, I pity you. But anyway, this episode is not about rain. It's about driving in fence posts, driving in heavy posts into the ground. I did a video a few days ago showing how to drive a fairly solid post into the ground using really basic tools, right? Just an axe and a bit of ingenuity using different sort of stakes and stuff. But what if you were going to build like I did in my garden here? I put a fence around the whole garden, basically 2,500 square feet, or a perimeter that's 50 by 50 by 50 by 50, right? A fairly large perimeter, and I had to drive a large 6-foot high, 3-inch diameter stake in every 8 feet. And I did it all by myself and just using my own physical power, not using any special machines or anything like that. And for anything like this, I mean, there's tractors and PTOs and special kinds of machines you can use. But for many of us, especially backyard gardeners like myself, those costs are just outrageous, especially when you consider that many of these activities are one-time things, right? You're going to do it once and then you don't have to do it for like 10 or 15 years. It doesn't make a lot of sense to spend thousands of dollars or a lot of money doing something like that when you only have to do it once. It makes more sense to come up with a very reasonable plan, use a little bit of elbow grease, and get it done just using some very basic tools and just putting a little bit of energy into it. So this episode I'm going to show you how I drove the fence posts in for my entire garden here. And if you try and drive any sort of solid heavy post, so I'm using this as an example. This is a 6-foot long, 2-inch diameter post, but even if it was 3 inches in diameter, this would work, and I can say that because this is exactly what I did here. So all you need is a pipe like this. This is about 3 feet long, and it's about a 3-inch diameter cast iron pipe. You can get this at any sort of plumbing supply store, and it has to have a cap like this at the end, right? So this end here, get it a bit closer, is threaded, and I just screwed this cap on the end, right? So in terms of basic tools, this is the most basic tool for driving a fence post. And again, there's more sophisticated, more costly ways to do it, but if you get something set up like this, which costs maybe, I don't know, 30 bucks all in, this is all you need, and it's remarkably easy. Now weight-wise, this thing weighs, I don't know, let me see. I can curl 35 pounds, and I can curl this. Yeah. So I would guess this is probably 30 pounds, give or take. Right? Because I know 35 is like a max. I can do like one. So if I can do more than one, then it must be slightly less than 35 pounds. Anyway, it's a good weight, right? It's the weight of a 4-year-old child, give or take, right? Okay, so this is all you need. So let me show you how this works. I think you've probably, just by looking at this, I think you've probably figured it out, but if you haven't, let me show you. Alright, I hope you can hear me from over there, but you got your post, and you got your pipe, and all you got to do is, oh, God, that's heavy. You got to fit it over the end. Place it where you want it to go, and then just lift it up and drop it. Try to, make sure it's relatively straight, relatively level, each way. Just eyeball it, I find works fine. just dropping it. Gravity's doing the work. See how this is coming down? Okay, so right now it's about 6 feet high. Right now it's at my nose. So it's less than 6 feet. We just keep going. Alright, it's about 5 feet high now, which means that about 2 feet of it is below the ground. Right, so that was ridiculously easy. I'm just lifting a bit of weight and dropping it. Right, so if you can buy one of these for about 30 bucks, that's all you need. That is in there. That's not going anywhere. Alright, so that's if you have to do a lot of posts, I mean, the way I showed you the other day, that's if you're doing 1 or 2, right? It's a little more tedious, perfectly effective. But if you have to do a whole bunch of posts, like when I did when I put this fence in, the cheapest, simplest way to do it is the way I just showed you there. I'm sure there's ways that are even easier using better technology and perhaps investing more money. But dollar for money, pound for pound, all things considered, all things being equal, I think the 3-inch pipe with a cap on the end, just lifting it and dropping it. If you can lift 30 pounds, you can drive 7-foot posts into the ground using just your own, what they call hand hydraulics, right? Not hydraulics, but just your own physical power. If you can lift 30 pounds, you can have the strength of a giant in terms of driving these into the ground using a very simple implement that I think that amount of cast iron with a cap on the end will probably cost you about 30 bucks, give or take, maybe 20 bucks. It depends on where you live and how much things cost. And when I say 30 bucks, 20 bucks, I'm talking about Canadian money. Wherever you live, you got to figure it out for yourself. It might be cheaper, might cost more. You might even be able to get that for next to nothing if you know somebody that's just got some scrap metal lying around. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that gave you an easy solution to a big problem that you're staring down the barrel of in your garden. If you need a big fence, if you have to drive a lot of posts in, and you're trying to think of a cheap way to do that, 3-inch diameter cast iron pipe with a cap at the end, and just dropping it, it doesn't get much easier than that. So I hope you found that useful. I hope that helped you in your garden. And until next time, get out there, get at it, have fun in your garden, and thanks for watching.